Hi guys, it's Christian and
Michelle.
we are going to switch up the order a little bit. We're actually going to talk today about communication. Michelle will get into more of her story when she feels more ready to. It's it's hard sometimes, right? When you're laying everything out in line and we're trying to put a story out to hopefully inspire people, but it doesn't mean that it's always easy to do.
It's very raw.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about communication. This is going to be one of many times, probably, right, that we talk about communication.
It's going to be a regular.
Yeah. It's the keystone. It's the corner. It's the foundation. It's everything, man. There's this great Zen Buddhist monk. His name is Thich Nhat Hanh, and he talks about how we all have positive seeds in our brains, in our psyches, in our emotional center, and negative seeds, and we all have them, right? And it depends on which ones get watered more, right? That determines on how you act and how you interact with people. So any kind of relationship, whether it be lovey or I just kind of sorry, it's a habit. I'll put my hand there. That was literally not on purpose, but it was funny. We like to keep playing the little race thing. So anyway, wait, what was I talking about? So communication.
Seeds.
Seeds.
Planting seeds.
Planting seeds, and look what you get. It's so bad.
Oh dear.
So, planting seed or watering the seeds that you have, right? So, in any relationship, no matter what kind of relationship, he talks about how if a person's hurt for whatever reason, right? If they're not feeling right within the relationship, they need to have the confidence in both in themselves and the person they're about to talk to be able to be completely open and not fear reprisal and not, like think they're going to hurt somebody's feelings or something, and just be able to openly say what's hurting them. And then the other person has to be brave and
loving and compassionate enough.
Exactly, to take them
to
at
hear
it.
those words.
Yeah.
And
Right.
not make it personal, but to see that it's that person's desire to try and express how they're feeling. And how we choose to respond to that completely determines how communication actually plays out.
Yeah, for sure. So, a classic example, right, is you have, a wife or someone's kind of classic old school example. She's put on the new dress and, she's not feeling really confident. And she goes to the husband and she's like, I don't know, how do I look? Right? Well, her discomfort is not that she doesn't look good. Her discomfort is that societal thing. My weight's not right. My this isn't right. My that isn't right. It has nothing to do with the dress necessarily.
Actually, from my personal perspective, it even goes maybe even a step deeper than that, in that can she trust that her partner actually believes that she's beautiful? Can she trust that the person who claims to be her other half looks at her and there's no question as to whether or not that woman looks beautiful? And it's not that we all don't need at least, input on a semi-regular basis about how we perceive ourselves. But when you have the ability to trust that your partner truly sees you and loves what they see, then those little, as Christian likes to call them, nigglies in our mind and our heart, those start to calm down, and you start feeling much more comfortable in your skin when you have somebody that you believe genuinely loves you for who you are and sees you for who you are. So even if I were to ask Christian that question as to whether or not, say, a new dress that I bought looked nice on me, it wouldn't be whether or not I believed he thinks I'm beautiful. The question would literally be, does the cut of this fabric sit properly on my body? Because if he was just going to answer, his answer would be, I look beautiful.
She's always beautiful.
And we all know that perception.
She's gorgeous.
Anyway.
I'm a little biased, I guess, but it's always a real answer.
So
and that's the thing, right?
Communications, actually, it starts on a very basic level.
Yeah, I love
very,
what you
very
were.
basic.
I love what you were saying about that with trusting the person. So if you don't have the communication, if you don't have it, if it's not open, how could you ever trust what the person's saying, or even that you can say something to them or talk to them? We do this all the time. It's so fantastic. It'll be little things, right? Little things can build and build and build and build, right? So it'll be a little thing that, well, okay, a friend came over not that long ago and was talking about another friend, and Michelle was upstairs in the bathroom and said something. It was, remember, about God, I'm blanking on her name, the French sounding lady, not Virginie, Robin's friend. Remember, you thought that I was talking about Lisa, who was one of my exes. Because I was saying her friend was, oh yeah, no, I hadn't seen her so long. It was so neat to see her. She looked great. She was really pretty. Da, da, da. Well, she thought I was talking about my ex. And so she came downstairs. She had that kind of look on her face, like, oh, I have a question for you. Do you miss Lisa? And I go, of course, I wasn't talking about her anyway. I go, what? Lisa, you mean my ex Lisa? It's like, well, I just heard you talking about her. Oh, Micheline. And I was like, no. Oh, wait, Micheline. Because I just saw her at the bar and you were there. Da, da, da. And once I reminded her, right, then everything was fine. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's cool. But what if that communication bridge had not been open, right? What if she had just sat on it and then it starts building? It's like, oh, he doesn't love me. He's thinking about this other person. Da, da. And then I detect a change in her and I'm freaking out. I'm like, well, what did I do? What's wrong? What's wrong with her? But if we're not communicating, right, then that's how steamrolls, and it gets ugly. And I'm sure everybody who's listening to this can relate,
In fact, the two of us have actually lived that in previous relationships.
Big time.
And it truly was the downfall of ultimately what turned out to be my 26-year marriage that is now almost done. We're in the process of that. But I really was, and this is going to be part of my personal journey that I have to talk about, that I'm still processing a lot of what's going on. And it's been pretty intense lately. So you'll just have to be patient with me until I get to the point where I can talk about it without breaking down and crying.
She's been dealing with a lot.
But when I moved out of that relationship and started to try and learn who I am as a person, I was absolutely determined that I was not going to be emotionally dishonest. I was going to speak my truth with love, and that if another human being couldn't reciprocate that communication style with me, I would know right away that individual was not the right person.
And I'd made the same choice.
Well, and
and look what happened. I think that's enough for right now. Like, kind of just a little intro. Yeah, is that good? Yeah. We're going to talk about communication a lot. It's been such a beautiful thing. Can I talk about the day though, just really briefly?
Today?
The day. Remember the first day that
please do.
So we'd only just met and we're just getting to know each other, and we had what could have been a really rough day where a lot of emotion from our past came up. It was so amazing. It was the most loving, genuine, like we just quietly, arm in arm, holding each other, talked through, crying, but not about what we'd done to each other, right? Yeah. About the stuff from the past. And I call it the day because once we did that day and we knew that that's how we communicated, we knew that we could talk through anything the way we do it with grace. We never raise our voices to each other. We don't argue. We work things out. We ask how the other person is, and we really listen, and we mean it. And we both do that.
And we're very intuitive with one another. I mean, I'm sure everybody does to some degree try and pay attention to the body language of their partner or their facial expressions or whatever.
We're so open with it though too. I mean, I think that helps immensely, right? We're not trying to hide anything from each other. We know that we don't have to. Nothing, right? So it can be what seems like the simplest little thing, but that can build. And if you keep that communication open, right? That day we knew getting through the way we got through that day, we knew we could conquer anything and everything. Then it's just been like, all right, well, shoot, there's no big deal because we know
And we
how
do
we'll
talk
fix it.
about everything.
Everything.
And I think that's also been a huge growing process for me, is finally being in with a partner that I'm not afraid to talk about absolutely everything with. So that's been a huge blessing for me, and I'm very grateful for that.
Likewise. And so I guess the immediate moral story is when your partner comes and says something to you is hurting, put your ego aside. Put that, oh, what did I do? That's like almost a societal response. What did I do? What do you say? No. Listen to what they're saying because they're coming to you and they're trusting you with the pain inside. And that's a big responsibility, right? And then you'll be able to do that with them later as well.
Now, of course, I'm just going to throw my little 3 cents in. It depends on how far you are into your relationship and how much pain or damage has already been caused between the two of you. But that does not mean that it can't be repaired.
Exactly.
If the two of you genuinely love one another, there is a way to find a path, a means of repairing that damage and getting back to your original relationship, the original love. And we'll talk more about that too.
Yeah.
But it can be done, especially if you've got the right partner. So, anyways, that's it.
All right. Once again, just want to encourage you guys, if you want to reach out and talk to us, we'd love to hear from you. It'd be awesome. Just even say hi. That'd be fantastic.
Any
We would
comments?
like that. Yeah. Any comments? Because of my friend from the first one, please keep it constructive. It worked out though. We became besties. All right. So we love you guys. Signing off for now.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Wait,
There we go. Okay.
Yeah, we
Okay,
are
yeah.
that big of goobers.
Yeah.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.